prices are going up and missiles are raining down. And Trump apparently has plans to put boots on the ground. At the same time, Iran has a whole new plan to change how the Strait of Hormuz operates permanently. They have long-range plans, and they think they will be around to implement those. And those plans are not at all good for the U.S. of A. So, my friends, we're going to get all into this. This is a serious situation because one thing really escalated the conflict, and that is that missiles were fired at Diego Garcia, 4,000 kilometers from Iran. Iran fired missiles 4,000 kilometers, two missiles at Diego Garcia base. That's that base way down in the Indian Ocean, joint base between the United States and the United Kingdom, that the United Kingdom tried to unilaterally give away without consultation with the United States, which is required by the treaty that's enforced. But, Starmer is not a fan of the United States. He's a globalist. But all that said, the big news is these two missiles were fired. Now, one of them apparently fell in flight, and the other was shot at least by an SM-3. We don't know if it actually had an intercept or what happened there. But this is a big development, in part because the foreign minister of Iran, Garcia, he said that Iranian missiles were all capped at a maximum range of 2,000 kilometers. Again, Foreign Minister of Iran, Garcia, can't even talk tonight, said that Iranian missiles, all of them, all ballistic missiles from Iran, were capped at 2,000 kilometers. He lied. He absolutely lied, because we now know they had at least two capable of flying 4,000 kilometers. Now, this kind of underscores the idea that Trump put out earlier, that the administration apparently found that Iran was, or at least they claim Iran was developing an intercontinental ballistic missile. And they claim to have had evidence. Now, I'd heard some rumors of this earlier. Now, here's the thing. Iran launches satellites. They have launched satellites. If you can launch satellites, you can develop an intercontinental ballistic missile. Duh. It's just, that's the way it is. A satellite launcher is basically also dual-use intercontinental ballistic missile. So apparently, according to administration intel, they were in the process of developing an intercontinental ballistic missile. But whatever the case is for that, we do now know that they have actually fielded and now flown two missiles capable of reaching 4,000 kilometers, which is double the range that Iranian Foreign Minister Garcia said was the cap. He said the cap was 2,000 kilometers. So that means we know now that they have a range far greater than what was thought. We also know that they're still firing missiles, and they're firing their more capable ones later, which is what a lot of the analysts said would happen, that they were using their smaller, less capable, older, cheaper stuff first, and they had a big reserve. Now, surely it's known that we've taken out a good percentage of their launchers, but this missile probably had a completely different launcher that we've never seen before. How many of these are there? Where are they hiding at? So Iran is a huge place. You got to remember how long we played whack-a-mole with the Houthis, and they just kept popping up with new launches and new launchers and everything. We thought we destroyed everything, that pop up with more from their caves and tunnels. And Iran's got a lot more caves and tunnels, and maybe holding some things back in reserve. But this was a major escalation on top of all the fuel war stuff that's been popping off of late. So this is, that's a new weapon. And it's a weapon that they said they did not have. Let's just be blunt. They said they didn't have. So what else did they have? They said they didn't have. What else have they developed? They said they weren't developing. Of course, they always tell us their nuclear program was totally for peaceful purposes. You don't enrich uranium to 60% for totally people. There is no peaceful use for uranium enriched to 60%. And so this is a very disconcerting moment in the war. So like I said, gas prices are going up and missiles are raining down. And again, Trump is planning to put boots on the ground. Apparently he's not made a decision for this, but we're talking about a couple of different dimensions in this, because we all have known and been told about the 31st Marine Expedition Unit that's heading toward Iran right now. It's passed through the Malacca Strait. It's well on the way from the USS Tripoli. Well, there's another one now coming from San Diego Naval Base, and that is the USS Boxer, is carrying a second Marine Expedition Unit. Now, this one, I believe, is a more traditional amphibious landing type craft. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because to my knowledge, the ones that were totally intended for airborne only operations was the USS Tripoli and the USS America. So this is a different ship with different capabilities. And on top of that, there is now the apparently some 82nd Airborne units are being activated. The 82nd Airborne can get there faster because they can fly there. They can be there in hours, whereas it takes weeks to mobilize an aircraft carrier or a marine amphibious assault vehicle, which is basically an aircraft carrier, in a mini one for the Marine Corps. So these are very interesting developments. And as I posted back in a previous live session where I talked about the advanced operation-based concept, the expeditionary advanced base operation concept. I have to get the acronym. It's the EABO concept, where the Marines would go in and hold islands or maybe parts of shore and set up this expeditionary base from which they could launch missiles and interceptors and things like that. And I mentioned 3 of the islands in the Strait of Hormuz near the choke point, which I thought would be highly likely they would take first. Was now there's a lot of talk about taking Krog Island, which is much farther inland, or in sea, you might say, in the Persian Gulf, much farther in, not close to the Strait of Hormuz. I still think they may go for the islands, and those islands closer to the Strait. Other islands are close to the Strait too. They may go for first to establish their order to be able to intercept things. And it might be the Marine Expeditionary Unit would take that island and set things up, and maybe the Army would come in with their launchers, their HIMARS systems. They could launch ATACMS and PRISM missiles, PRSMs, as they're also known, and or other such missiles for intercept and a missile attack on the ground. The PRISM is more of a ground surface attack missile. It's also good for attacking moving ships. So that's a big difference. The ATACMS is also a ground attack missile, but they may put PAC-3 Patriots. They may put THAADs in there. Who knows what they could put on these islands. Also, they could have other forms of missile intercept, such as they could put in, lasers, microwave weapons. The drones are getting from Ukraine. They'll need quite an array of different weapons to counter the different types of drones and missiles. Iran also has some shorter missiles that are only good for like 10 to 15, maybe 12 to 15 kilometers, much smaller missiles, which having a shorter range would be fired from closer from the shore or from other boats in the shore or offshore that could pose a threat. Now, those, because they are hypersonic, or at least, flying at ballistic missile speeds, would be a lot harder to hit because they'll be coming in close without as much warning. A missile fired from shore, being a ballistic missile type, could be detected by satellite tracked, and those are much easier to intercept. And you might say the same, we got Pyramid 7 in the house. Good to see you. So these are things that we've got to be awake to now. They're things we got to be aware of. They're real, it's going to be hard, extremely hard to secure the Gulf, the Persian Gulf, and the Strait of Hormuz. Most of the attacks that have occurred there so far really occurred not exactly in the Strait of Hormuz itself, but ships at dock mainly because they're stationary, which probably makes them easier targets. It may be hard to hit a moving target with the Iranian missiles. Now, the PRISM missile was based on the land-based ship missile, something like that, that the Army, LBSM, something like LBS, yeah, land-based ship missile that the Army developed, which was capable of hitting mobile targets like ships. So the PRISM is also capable of that. It's got that legacy of the LBSM missile. So, and I have worked on the PRISM myself, so I'm familiar with that missile system. Now, I got to tell you that this is because Iran brings a lot of different threats to the Gulf there in the Strait of Hormuz, and there are different missiles. I got a cat. Just turned on my garbage bag right in front of me. Your cats. Jesus, got these little kittens in the house. They're attacking me, making a mess right at my feet. All right, guys, sorry about that. So the thing is, they've got drones. They got different type of drones. They got small, fast attack boats, manned and unmanned. They've got apparently submersible attack boats. They've got different mine layers. I don't think they're going to lay many mines or any, maybe no more mines at all, because they got this new policy from Iran. Iran plans to hold out for the long term. They think they can survive this, and Iran has announced the following. They have announced that they are going to permanently choke the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to allow, according to their plans, they're going to allow nations friendly to them, and of course China, to transit the strait. But they got to pay a toll, a tax to Iran to pass through. They're going to have a toll tax. And in fact, it's been said that the ones that are passing through now have paid money to Iran to pass through the strait. So this is something that's apparently already gone. Some have passed through. One ship passed through and really weren't Chinese, but they announced that their crew were all Chinese, and they got through. So we can say, excuse me, why China isn't interested in interdicting on behalf of the United States. Because here's the bottom line. If Iran pulls this off, if they survive this, and if they can continue to choke the Strait of Hormuz and put forward the plan they have put forward, that is one of the strategic objectives of China, is to be able to choke off all these strategic choke points. And the cat's making a lot of wrecking. I turned over my garbage can right at my feet and was tearing into a bag. I got 3 little kittens in the house. So the deal is this. This is if that's the case, we've lost a war in essence, to be quite frank about it, because it should be one of our top objectives to, you got 8 cats. It's one of the top objectives should be to keep keep China from choking off all the critical choke points in the world. See, we've always said, hey, we could choke the Malacca Strait and choke off supplies to China, but China might counter and choke off like the Panama Canal and the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea. Cat, you clawing my leg. It's attacking me now. So, oh yeah, this is some of the cats. One of them tried to jump on me. They don't understand that, that claws are not a valid way to climb a person. It wasn't an attack. It was just trying to get on me. It wanted me to pet it. So, yeah, that's the thing. This is a huge escalation. And can we really shut the regime down? This may be part of what the 82nd Airborne has been planned for. I mean, really and truly, it would require we hold a portion of the coastline, probably, because there's so many little jetties and islands and places they can come out of with these fast attack boats. And there is a lot of boat traffic, including small boat traffic in the Persian Gulf. There's a lot of fishermen and other people operating in the Gulf. So it is a place that is very active. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish these small boats from, especially small attack boats, from just a regular, everyday, smaller boat traffic. Now, apparently, the A-10 Warthog has moved in there and has made mincemeat a lot of these boats, the small attack boats. And the A-10 Warthog is really good at that thing. It's close air support, a jet plane capable of close air support. And the Air Force actually wanted to scuttle the A-10, probably because it was an old plane and, it wasn't a new development. They wanted to spend money developing these new whiz-bang, really expensive weapon systems that you run out of real fast, because that's what the big defense contractors want to do. You spend big money on ginormous, expensive precision missiles and aircraft, when often what you need is something like an A-10 Warthog. Now, sure, yes, the Army has attack helicopters that does a lot of the same thing, but the A-10 Warthog is a jet-powered plane and get there faster, and it's probably got a really good range on it. So when I was a troop in the Army, when I was a soldier, I was happy to know back then the big attack helicopter was called a Cobra. And I was real happy to know that the Cobras and the Warthogs had my back. And every time I saw a Warthog on the airfield somewhere, I was happy to see it. And I have even seen them out of the Army at the airfields give them some attention, a little bit. But yeah, they try to climb my legs sometimes, and it leaves me like this. So, guys, the situation is that, I'm under attack, but I'm going to carry out the mission, just like the old bombers in World War II, right? You got to carry out the mission. My mission is to get the news to you right now. So I may pick them up and pet them later. But here's the thing. The thing is that Iran has the long game in mind. I'm gonna do a video on Iran's plan to win, and I'm gonna do another video on the big picture, just to hope a really big picture of what this means geopolitically, geostrategically, this war, and a lot of the other things the Trump administration is trying to do right now. We don't know if they're going to succeed with this one, because Iran is a really big country. And if we don't put boots on the ground in a major way, like a major commitment of land troops, which the public will not support, then they're going to continue in most all probability. This whole notion of uprising of the protesters is still very remote. They'd like to do it, and they've been given a few tools by the Israelis to be able to call in strikes from their cell phones on RGC forces and their choke points on the Bajiz, which is the local paramilitary branch of the RGC, which is kind of a voluntary force, a real big force, but they're also armed. The protesters are not armed. It was the Bajiz who was actually the arm of the RGC that was mowing down Iranian protesters and wiped out a lot of them. There's rumors that once we pull away, that's going to go on in mass. There's going to be a lot of Iranians who will be put underground. And I don't mean in bunkers. So it don't look pretty. I hope for the people there that somebody, if we put some forces in there, that we do something to get these people armed so they can take care of themselves. What's the best argument for the Second Amendment? Well, look at the Iranian protesters. There it is. That's your best argument in the world for the Second Amendment. So in this country. So all that said, part of the plans of what Donald Trump is actually actively considering right now, and this is a known fact, he's really considering going in to take out the nuclear enriched materials out of Iran. This would take, it wouldn't be a full-scale invasion, but this would probably be the bigger part of boots on the ground that might be committed in this operation. That is an exceedingly difficult operation, because in some cases they may have to take in heavy earth digging equipment. How they're going to get that in there, I don't know. And at the same time, they've got to be able to set up a defensive perimeter for the duration of the dig time, and while it's being under attack from ground forces, missiles, drones, God only knows what. You can bet they would be under an intense attack should they try to establish an operation like that. So they got to be able to get in and get out quick. But the other thing is, if they do locate those centrifuges, they are a pretty good size and are full of a toxic gas. They can't rupture them. If they do, they're in severe trouble, because that uranium hexafluoride inside is not only highly radioactive because it's got highly enriched uranium, but the hexafluoride itself is extremely caustic, extremely poisonous, very deadly. Combine it with uranium, and it's off the charts, extremely bad. and they've got to be handled with kid gloves. So you're in a military operation with bang bang going on, and you're in a hurry, you're digging, and you're trying to extract out these little things, which are, fragile and extremely toxic. It's extremely deadly. So, and then they got to get them out of the country. So there's got to be quite an extraction operation. Some people consider this mission not mission impossible, but mission nearly impossible. So it is a very difficult proposition. And so he's weighing his options very carefully. But, as I've always said, no plan survives the first contact with the enemy. So there's plenty of ways this can go awry. It might work, We also have whatever the weapons were, apparently, that had the Cuban Defense Forces in Venezuela guarding Maduro, throwing up their eyeballs and toenails through their mouth, and becoming exceedingly sick and incapacitated. Maybe they will put that to use again, but, they use that in small, limited areas. You're talking about having to do something in mass at scale over a large area and maintain it for some time. Do those systems have that capability? We do not know. That would be a huge, big test of something like that. And how do you employ those without making your own troops sick? How directional is that stuff? It probably is directional, but there's just a lot of things at play here that raise a lot of questions about how these operations can be done. Now, again, I do believe that expeditionary operational base concept, the EABO, as it's called, is an excellent idea for securing islands, maybe some areas ashore, and being able to set up a defensive perimeter. But that defensive perimeter have to be multi-layered, and we'd have to have the munitions to survive whatever is being thrown at us at that time. And Iran has a lot of these Shahed drones. They've got, like I said, shorter range missiles. They still got other missiles. So you can bet they'll be doing everything they can to outlast us. And even if we do this and just run out of political willpower and nothing, we've got midterm elections coming up. If they pull back, then Iran still could. All it takes is being able to take out one tanker, and the insurance companies won't cover the ships. The captains will be really concerned about going through the harbor, and U.S. and Israeli ships would not be permitted. The rest of them would have to pay some kind of a toll fee, and it probably isn't going to be cheap, and that's just going to enrich the coffers of Iran to make their comeback and do whatever they want to do sometime down the road. And apparently, I said something about, weeding the garden, like, maybe every few years, Israel might come back in there and weed the garden. Well, apparently, Israel already had a name for that, and they call it mowing the grass. I wasn't aware of that, but that's what they call their operations against Hezbollah and, and organizations like that. So this is a new big wrinkle, especially this 4,000 kilometer. If you're just joining us, you missed what I just said at the outset of this, that Iran has fired two 4,000 kilometer capable missiles at Diego Garcia, which is way down in the Indian Ocean. And like I said, the foreign minister of Iran, Aragachi, it said that all their ballistic missiles were capped at 2,000 kilometers. They didn't have anything capable of going over 2,000 kilometers. Now we know he lied. And there's no surprise to that. There should be no surprise to that at all. So there you are. Proof in the pudding now. And if you just join, one of them apparently failed in flight, and the other one was at least shot at by an SM-3 interceptor missile. And that's all we know about it. Did it intercept? What happened? We don't have the details yet. This is pretty new breaking news. I hadn't seen it anywhere else on any other YouTube channel. So I'm bringing you this news fresh. It's breaking news. So a lot's been going down. Iran has continued to fire missiles through, yesterday evening, this morning. By this morning, I'm talking about Friday morning. I guess it's actually now Saturday morning. But it's been a very active campaign. It's still going on. And just a lot of questions at hand here. So it's just a lot of things here that we've got to be aware of, a lot of things that are going to threaten our troops. a lot of things that people at home need to be aware of, because if they do shut this down, it could have impact on fertilizer prices here in the United States. If they just cut us out, it could have impacts just still on fuel costs. The price of oil has suddenly had another surge spike in prices. I'm going to show you all that here in a minute. We're going to go through the articles on this stuff, but I just wanted to bring you guys this in a nutshell before I went into the news articles. I'm not probably going to share as many news articles as I do sometimes, because we've been lied to. I know. Yes, exactly. Well, they've been lying all along when they said that their program was for peaceful purposes. You don't enrich uranium to 60% for peaceful purposes. And I think everybody really knew that. And like I said, earlier, the Trump administration had said that Iran was developing an intercontinental ballistic missile. And of course, Iran would have denied that, but they did have a satellite launcher, and that's in the essence of the intercontinental ballistic missile. So you can't discount that claim when you see them suddenly firing missiles at a range of 4,000 kilometers with twice the range that Iran said they possessed. Bottom line. So we know that for a fact. So the fact is, this war has turned ugly. It's got really, if Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz this way, it's a lose-lose for us, unless there is one other plan. Apparently, there's some movement going forward to actually build a canal that shortcuts the Strait of Hormuz. That could be a game changer in part, but still, Iran could, as they've already done, fire at ships at port on the other side of the Persian Gulf. That's what they've been doing. So you still got to have some kind of defense system in there to defend against that, even with a canal cutting and bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. So there you are. It's not going to be a pretty picture. Any way you shake it, what might happen is that we may have to keep forces on some of those islands or somewhere with setting up a defensive perimeter. That may have to remain there. And I kind of alluded to that previously when I talked about it, because I don't see any way around that. Now, with the right kind of interceptors, especially if you're using those Ukrainian interceptor drones and lasers and microwave weapons and A-10 Warthogs and some attack helicopters to shoot stuff down directly, some phalanx weapons. The phalanx is a high-speed rifle, basically, that's mounted on a ship that can take out a lot of stuff. Those are very capable. So there's a lot of things that may have to be weaved together to put together a complete package to provide some type of security. It may have to be permanent. And we would indeed probably have to hold some of those islands to make it happen. Krog Island is a tall order to take. It's a big island. Trump said he totally decimated all the defense installations on that island, but didn't take out the oil facilities. So we'll have to see what happens with that. There's a lot of uncertainty moving forward as we take out more and more Beirut explosion. We've had another one. Okay, I don't know about that, Arthur. I just scanned the news before I came in here. So it's possible. And a lot of things are happening. It's happening fast. It could be going down right now. We are in a war. It's ongoing. New developments can happen any second. This was a big new development, this missile firing. Yeah. I hope we don't try to, they won't even allow us to pay tribute to get through there. But, it was tribute, the requirement to pay tribute to pass through the Mediterranean. That, have you ever heard of something from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli? And what's going to Iran right now? To Tripoli. Isn't that interesting? Is that coincidental? It's one of those odd coincidences. Yeah, we're sending a boat named the Tripoli with Marines to the Strait of Hormuz. So, that's how our Marine Corps got its first fame. That's one of the first foreign engagements the United States made. It made Europe cheer because Europeans were scared to do it, and Americans went in and took care of the Barbary pirates. They went in and kicked some A, and Europeans were scared of them because the North African Barbary pirates and other Arabic states there had reigned terror on Europe for a long time, taking slaves I think 1 million Europeans were captured into slavery. I mean, for a long time, the coastal cities, the Mediterranean coastal cities of Europe were almost vacant. People were scared to live there. So, and shipping was very dicey for them. So, U.S. Marines, we've done Europe so many favors throughout history. And what thanks do we get for that? They want to trade with China now. The very country, I'm going to show you something on that too. The very country that's really funding Russia's invasion to Ukraine, which they say they're all against. Man, it's like double standards. It's like, I don't know about the Europeans. Yes, Bill, we could be in the opening phases of the book of Revelation. It would not surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. It does smell a lot like it in many ways. And I actually showed you how Chinese could use robotics in their genetic super soldier program, which is existent, to pull off the kind of things that were mentioned in the book of Revelation. So don't discount that from it. Oh, yeah, I talked about robotic horses. And I did that before any notion of robotic horses came out of China. And since then, China has shown off their new robotic horses. So you got it from me first. I guarantee you, nobody else brought that anywhere in the media at all, in the whole media sphere. I brought that to you first. There's some things you don't get from me before anybody else comes up, because I'm an engineer and I look at trends and I see where things are going. And was looking at, well, how would the Chinese solve the problems they had? And then I look, oh, they're already starting this, but they're a lot further along and they've advanced this faster than even I thought. That's a scary thing. Things are developing really fast in the world of robotic soldiers, robotic systems, drone warfare, now the robotic horses. Guys, we're living in almost sci-fi times right now. You think of all the AI, how it's been used in this war. It made a huge difference in how many targets the United States could take, how they took out the leadership and ran so fast. And it's just mind-boggling what they're coming. And yeah, some of these drones that the Israelis are using have facial recognition systems in them, and that's just downright frightening. From a personal standpoint, yeah, they might seem okay when it's used over there. What happens when that kind of system gets used over here? So, oh yeah, and there's also been some literature floating around talking about people from, I guess, the drug gangs in Mexico staging an invasion on our southern border and trying, yeah, they got some grand plan of retaking the United States. And, you talk about sleeper cells. What if all these drug gangs turn out to be some kind of a sleeper cell themselves? So there's just a lot of things to pay attention to right now. There's a lot of reasons to have your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. Morning, New Days. How you doing? So there are so much going down right now that it's really time to be exceedingly aware, to keep your eye on everything, eyes wide open, head on a swivel like never before. Get your preps ready, because we don't know how this is going to play out for us, but it's not a pretty picture. But the thing is, this may have been inevitable, because these other forces had plans and they were in the process of executing them. And maybe Trump pulled the fuse before they were ready, and it might have deflated how they would conduct their plans, how fast it would advance. I don't know. Of course, it could have stimulated it in some ways too, but for the most part, it might have been a major global checkmate. You got to look at this war. It's bigger than just Iran, and I'm going to cover that in a future video. There's a bigger picture to discuss here. Well, I'm glad some people have been prepping for a long time. Yeah, me too. So, and they've come in. My preps came in handy more than once already. So that's just something to bear in mind, my friends. Something to bear in mind. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can go down. Why do you think we got biolabs for the United States? What are those military age young Chinese men that came into this country? What are they doing here? Then the drug gangs are very much allied with China, because China bankrolls and launders their money right through state banks in China. So a lot of stuff, guys, a lot of things to take into account, because I've warned you guys for a long time that China's at war with us, and we're just too darn dumb to know it for the most part. or don't want to admit it for some reason. Yeah, Chuck Norris, that's a shame. Well, maybe he'll miss all this stuff we're getting thrown at now. Might be mercy for him. He'll probably be rolling in his grave at what's going down here. So this is something, guys, that we've got to pay a lot of attention to. It's time to be on your awares like never before and get your preps in order. All right, and I want to share some articles here, and we'll talk a little bit more. So I'm going to go over and start sharing some stuff, guys. And whoa, that's odd. This computer is really acting weird on me now. She's dying. She's burning up. She's operating too hot. Anyway, so one of the things I've warned you guys about is all the products that we get, all the toxins in the products. I've done videos about the heavy metals in our toothpaste, the chemicals in your hand detergent. Just all our products are just chock full of all kind of chemicals, and it's just something to bear in mind. And they're all controlled by 12 major corporations, all these different brands here, and they control a lot of what goes into the formulas. A lot of it just for shelf life and color and taste and just all kind of stuff, but it's chemicals. And these chemicals, a lot of them just flat aren't good for you. I've covered this. We've talked about it, and just something to keep in your mind, my friends, that these 12 companies, if you go to the WWIII website, you're going to find that that organization is supported by what they call their partners, and it's these big corporations. And even these companies have controlling interests run by these asset management companies, such as principally the biggest one being BlackRock. And who's BlackRock? Well, it's founded by Larry Fink. Now, State Street is really old. Vanguard is more recent. BlackRock is Larry Fink set that up. And what's he running now? The House of Klaus. I kid you not. So go figure. Anytime you spend $1, every time you spend $1, you're casting a vote. You're voting for that company in essence. And that I didn't mean to kill that. That was something that not Larry Fink, that Milton Friedman pointed out to us in his book, Freedom to Choose. So switch away from that. Quit supporting those companies and their bad, toxic products and the House of Klaus. And I've come up with a way to do that. I've set up this website, switchwithgreg.com, switchwithgreg.com. Non-toxic products, family-owned business, all made in America, supporting American jobs. All their products are tested for consumer safety, no chemicals, plant-based. Even the cleaners are plant-based. So these are good choices. Again, go to switchwithgreg.com, fill out this form. This goes directly to me, and I've got an assistant working with me who will be contacting. Her name's Lisa. She's part of the community, a really good person. So let's look at oil. Look here, guys. It's really shooting up again. We had a little bit of a reprieve. The reprieve is over. It is going up. So let me hit a refresh on this. See if maybe it's changed already. No, not for good. It's still going up. Still going up. There we are. It's heading toward $120 a barrel. Some people say it go to 150, 200. I've heard higher numbers. We don't know yet. So Trump is even relaxing sanctions on Russian oil and even Iranian oil to try to get this oil price down. So, but it's so far not working. So far, this is really kicking it up. So this drives everything. Every oil price has risen sharply, it says here. Yeah, this is the Brent crude hourly. That's what this chart is depicting. So pay attention. All right, I'm going to try to change this. Do a few other. This is about the 2 missiles fired at Diego Garcia I was talking about. And ding, ding, ding. Now, this is Iran's new radical plan for the Strait of Hormuz. No return to pre-war status quo. Again, what Iran is saying is they're going to keep the choke going permanently from now on. That they're going to regulate what passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and operates probably the entirety of the Gulf. And basically, if you don't want to be sunk, you're going to have to be not it aligned with Israel, the United States, and you're going to have to pay them a tribute. They're going to impose a toll charge on ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And it's also been claimed you would have to trade in yuan. So, guys, Iran is a proxy for China, if y'all didn't know that. Well, I'm going to go more into that in the future. But here's something else that's just as unnerving. Just as unnerving. Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, this is just as big as anything else, had a swarm of drones flying there. This is our B-52 base, guys. And these were flying through these drones, multiple unauthorized drones. It went through restricted airspace between March 9th and March 15th. And these drones would not respond. They tried to jam them, and they were jam proof. They couldn't jam them. These are basically military grade drones. That's a scary thing. They don't know who they belong to. So, and they had some other communication system apparently that was operating. Let's see if I can find it in here. My scrolling isn't working as good as normal. There's 12 to 15 drones operating several days going through restricted airspace, including on the flight line. What was this all about? Is this like a warning shot? I mean, they didn't take a shot at our B-52s, but they could have. You remember Operation Spiderweb, what the Ukrainians did to Russian bombers? This could be something like that could happen here. So they tried to jam them. They tried to use RF. They tried to attack their GPS, everything. And these drones, they couldn't affect them. They could not have effect on them. So this is a very scary development. And what was really going on here? What really was going down? Yeah, this is our B-52 bombers. So this is something to be very concerned about right here. And this is why we should never have allowed Chinese to buy land near all of our military bases, because they can operate stuff like this from these land holdings they've got. We know this, and now something's going down. Is this just a warning from China? Did I say Japan earlier? I meant China. Is this just a warning shot from China to tell us, hey, we got operational control, just to let us know, oh, if we go to war with them, what they can do? What is this? This is a very concerning development. Had they been Ukrainian, I don't know, they might not Ukrainian. Had they been Iranian, they might have attacked, but maybe not. Iran really doesn't want to cause an operation that would unite the American public to put boots on the ground in a full-scale invasion. So it's a big question as to what's going down here. And we don't have any answers right now. Kind of makes you think the so-called New Jersey drone thing, which wasn't restricted to New Jersey. It was all over. We had military bases with drones flying on around the world, and they were dismissive about them, but should they have been dismissive? So we don't know, my friends. So I'm kind of thinking that there was more to that than we were told. That maybe they didn't want to panic the public. So again, Trump is strategizing how to seize these nuclear stockpiles. I've already talked about how problematic that is. It's going to be an exceedingly tough operation to pull off. Very expensive. It could cost a lot of loss of life. But if you can actually prevent them from getting the drone, nuclear weapons, it might be worth it, but it's going to be at quite an expense and money, manpower, and potentially lives lost. And the whole thing could end very bad. And then again, it might succeed. I don't know. It's a big gamble. It's a big gamble. Anyway, the 11th Marine Expedition Unit. Now we got the 31st Marine Expedition Unit going in. Now the 11th Marine Expedition Unit, 2,200 Marines on the USS Boxer, which is LHD-4. That's the ship. And this is the ship here, and it's going from San Diego. This is the ship right here. I don't know if I can blow this up. Maybe we have a look at it. Oh, That picture, is it going to blow up? Come on. Everything on my computer is responding exceedingly slow. There it is. Now, this one apparently has a water well in the back. So it's probably going to sport amphibious assault boats. So it does have some airborne capabilities too. And I can't scroll from the keypad here. Just give you some idea about this ship here. It's been employed in anti-piracy operations. Yeah, they're not showing the rear end of it, so it's hard to see that water well approach. Anyway, so the USS Boxer is en route now. And like I said, the elements of the 82nd are said to be en route, but the 82nd Airborne units are, they can get there in hours. They'll fly in with a plane and they can just jump out of the sky. So, oh yeah. It was another warning from Iran. Another warning that's escalatory. They said this: from now on, based on the information we have about you, even parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations anywhere in the world will no longer be safe for you. And this is this guy, Garcia, I don't know how you say his name, a statement quoted by the Iranian state television on Friday. So they're telling us that for some reason, they said no place would be safe. But they pointed out even parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations anywhere in the world. So if you're traveling, you might want to pay attention to that. We got trolls coming in the house tonight. I know I got the best mods in the world. Y'all take care of them real fast. How you doing, Eddie? Yeah, trolls don't last long in my house. I know that because I got the best mods there are anywhere. So, guys, this is something to pay a lot of attention to. This is why I tell you to be situationally aware. And this might be something that lone wolves would be taking on. So, is this warning legit? You can't afford to ignore it. I don't know, but you can't afford to ignore it. I tell you to stay situationally aware. We do know there's been some lone wolf activity already in this country. And this could happen here, it could happen overseas. Apparently, this triggered alarms across European security services because I guess the European security agencies think that this is partially aimed at them. So that is a big new one to take into account. I don't know if anybody else has mentioned this on any other YouTube channel. I've not heard it anywhere else. So could be out there. But guys, this is something to stay situationally aware of. This article is not going to come up. Let's see if we can hit a refresh on it. There it is. Oh yeah, so the Iranians have given evacuation notice to Ras Al Harama, whatever you pronounce that name, in UAE, which is the sixth largest port city in the United Arab Emirates. So apparently they're planning some major attacks there. Is this going to pull the UAE into the war? I mean, how much will they tolerate? Again, the warthogs are going after those boats. I was talking about the fast attacks boats. And apparently they made mincemeat out of quite a few of them. And let's see if I can get this thing to advance. Yeah, my computer is running really slow. There we go. Whoop, I killed that article. I didn't mean to. Anyway, sometimes I'm trying to open something and it kills them. So, as you know, Trump had warned Iran that if they attack any Qatar again, that the Trump administration would blow up all their PARS gas field facilities. Which would have very long-term impacts on not only natural gas, LNG, but fertilizer, because our nitrogen-based fertilizer comes from the ammonia they make from this natural gas. But we also know that sulfur transit through the Gulf too. So there's a lot of potential future impacts on the cost of fuel. Now, for our good European friends, we got anybody from Europe in the house tonight? We get European people in here a lot. I really appreciate them watching my channel. But what there's a lot of the European countries seem to be pivoting toward China. But what's come out is that China is massively investing in opening operations in the eastern Ukraine oblast that under what was formerly Ukraine, that's been held by Russia. So, and we all know that China has been bankrolling that invasion. So for you Europeans who are pivoting to China, but you're against Russia, I don't get you. I don't understand you. What are you doing? It just don't make any sense. China has no friends. China is aggressive, expansionist. They hate freedom. They're an anathema to everything you claim to stand for. Although we know that your elite actually admire China. They told us that. Uh, Klaus Schwab admitted it himself directly, saying, "Oh, the Chinese model, that's what we should use." Oh, yeah, and you can look it up. It's out there somewhere. So, friends, in Europe, beware, be very aware. So, I'm going to go through this stuff. And let's talk about Cuba here a minute, because Russia is trying to run our blockade of Cuba with a tanker. And our Treasury Secretary Bassett said they can't do it. That it can't. That Cuba can't get Russian oil. So are we going to have another Cuban showdown with the Russians? I don't know. This is getting interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very fast. Things are the tensions are global. So I'm going to talk that more at length in the near future. So now here's the other thing. I was talking about the AI and the robots. Well, I mentioned you guys that this Terminator style robot has been sent to Ukraine by an American company from California. And now apparently the Russians are kind of freaking out over this. They're freaking out over this robot. Although, according to the company that sent it, and I don't know about that picture, but according to them, it's just been used for reconnaissance, not combat. But how long is that going to last? How long do these things are actually in combat? So, guys, I'm telling you, the world is changing exceedingly fast, and the changes are accelerating. So, watch out. I'm going to come in and scan through the chat room in a minute, guys. We just got a couple more things to cover, but I'll try to get through the news first for our coffee club guys in the morning. So here in the United States, it's been cold in the east. I know Minnesota got a lot of snow, and it's kind of west, but north center of the country and the eastern part of the country has been really cold. But we've had a heat wave here in the west. It's been pretty warm here, even not as hot as I'm not hot like Phoenix and Tucson, but it's been pretty high here for this time of the year. I mean, it's like 50 degrees right now, maybe. No, it's 48 degrees here right now at night. It's almost 2 in the morning. And I see a high of 89 tomorrow and actually 92. No, it's going to 92 today. That'll be the highest of the week. Yeah, we hadn't seen no 90s. Then it's going to be 85, 86, 86, 89. Crazy temperatures for early spring. So, and we can still get a cold snap here. So I see a lot of trees starting to bud out. That might mean they might get their leaves wiped out. I saw it one year in Alabama. We had a real warm early March, and leaves came out almost full grown. I mean, they got big. And then we had a freeze, and it looked like autumn in the springtime. I was really worried about loss of a lot of trees. But those trees survive. Now, here where there's so little water, it might be a lot harder on the trees if that happens. So, we're in a drought, so that could be really hard on the trees to respond to snap back from that. Yeah, it's early, so I'm seeing in snowflake the deciduous tree leaves are starting to pop out, and that's concerning. That's way too early for that. I've seen this last April, I had 7.5 inches of snow here on the 19th of April, like a month from now. So that could still happen. And after a warm spell like this, that would be extremely hard on the plant life. And a lot of people might be encouraged to start the gardens early. They still need to hold back a little bit on that. So, because you don't really know what swing this is a swing, and it may be a temporary swing. All right, earthquakes. I want you to look at the Aleutian Islands. Holy smoke. They're just packed with earthquakes. Um, and down here in South America, a lot of big earthquakes there. We got a whole string of them right here where the Juan de Fuca plate comes to a vertex. Of course, the islands around here. Was that Tonga or Vanna? What do you call that place? Vanna. I don't know. So if I can click the outer circle instead of the inner circle, I'm trying to click it. And it clicking. There we go. Yeah. Vanna. How you say it? Vanuatu. Yeah, 5.7 there. Got one off the southern edge of Japan here, 4.6. Over here, it's getting close to Guam. All right, my clicker ain't clicking. My computer is like dying on me. It's okay. The Bonin Islands, Japan, 4.4. Look over here. South America's got a bunch of stuff going off there. Chile, 4.1. Argentina, 4.4. It's probably back in Chile again. Yep. Port of Chile, 4.0. But the Aleutian Islands are rocking. But over here in the Mediterranean area, there's a lot going on here too. 5.2. And Lini, Italy, I guess that's how you pronounce it. But over here in Greece, you got a couple of them, 4.3 there. If we scroll in on the United States, yeah, Australia, you've been kind of immune. You got these things going off all around you, my Aussie friends, but you've been kind of immune. A lot of stuff in Alaska. Right here. It's probably close to Denali. Let's see if it'll click. It's like I click something and then it responds way after I click it sometimes. 3.9 Cantwell. We've seen Cantwell earthquakes before. This is over close to Nome here. Yep, Nome. 3.4. Now, this is either West Texas or New Mexico. Let's see. Let me click it here. Yeah, this is slow to go. My computer is dying. I need to get the files off of it before it totally crashes. I've done, all right. Yeah, it's New Mexico, 2.9. White City. New Mexico and West Texas have a few in there. But this is interesting right here. The Puerto Ricans are dancing a little bit tonight, not heavy, for a Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday morning. Look at this. We've got earthquakes, and looks like there's an aftershocks in there too. Tonopah, Nevada. Now, we've seen Tonopah go off a few times, but look here at this vertex of the Juan de Fuca plate. Right here, 3.0, just a little bit west of it, a 3.6. Then over here, closer to the coast, 3.3. But the western side of that plate, a 2.9. A lot of stuff going on around that plate. And down in Baja, California, got a 3.2. I don't know, guys, that's kind of interesting, all the activity right here. Is Chew weather in the house tonight? He might have something to say about that if he were in the house. Anyway, let's get over to space weather, and that'll kind of get us through this newscast part. No major sunspots looking at us right now, but we got some kind of big solar flare, not flare, but must have some CME activity going because we got a lot of aurora activity right now, probably thrown off in the sun a couple of days. Well, I didn't mean to kill the site. Oh my gosh. I click on something. Oh, my computer is really getting testy for me right now. So I can bring it back up through history. Well, I'll just type it in. Let me type. So this thing is just like non-responsive. I click on something, click, 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 nothing happens. Now it's up. All right, we're back to space weather. CME impact, strong electromagnetic storm CME hit. It's a G3. That's a pretty strong storm. G3. I mean, it's not going to take out our power grid, but look here. There's some aurora over Kangas. I don't know where that is. Oh, it says somebody named Kangas. Okay. Wow, if I was at Fort Greeley now, I'd be seeing some Arnold. Is he in the house? He might be able to see this. Arnold, are you in the house? That's some pretty strong stuff. I mean, it's not deep red. It's not down the lower 48, but nothing scrolls anymore from my keypad. I'm got a lot of functions on this computer's going out. The onboard camera's dead. One of my graphics chips is dead. This computer is dying on me. Now look at all this near misses that we had. We found out about after they went past us. 0.4 distance between the Earth and the Moon, halfway between the Earth and the Moon. Small asteroids, up 4 meters, 3 meters. So small ones that we tend to find more and more as they zoom past us. There's probably 10,000 of those out there. But coming ahead, we still got that one on the 14th of March, 14th, excuse me, of April, right before tax day. But we look in the past, and there's a lot of activity there. Okay, well, that's enough for the newscast portion of this. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to switch over and see what you guys are having to say for a little bit. I'm going to try to scroll through it fast. It's already 2 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm going to try to take this to the top or something near the top, because sometimes it don't take me all the way back there to this chat. Sometimes it cuts it off somewhere. Now, I think this is pretty close to the beginning, because Fazioli is the second one in the house. He's usually the first. Him or there's a guy in Singapore sometimes beats him. Captain Trips, Mag Rising, good to see you from Alaska. Mr. Dunham. Again, it's not scrolling right. Oh, from Scotland, Alex from Scotland. Well, good to see you in the house. Why is this thing not scrolling? There we go. Kevin says, hi, Greg, long time no see. Yeah, I'm healthy. Exile, the Knights of Malta. Now, dang it, usually there's a reason why I wake up at farmer hours. Oh, and Pyramid says, great to see you in the house. Been a while. My first 2 mods were Pyramid 7 and Soulside Jules. I believe in that order. See, Shelley Trot says, do you know Doomsday Queen? I believe her husband was deployed there last week. No, who is Doomsday Queen? I don't know her drops. Let's see here. See, Shelley, good to see you in the house. Buttery Apex. The war would all they would all come home in body bags. Oh, I hope not, but nothing would surprise me. Let's hope not. Yeah, I heated something in the microwave that shouldn't have been mixed with oil. Uh-oh. Make a DIY liquid soap. Oh, 10 minutes is the new minute. It's easy to boil your hot water. Oh, yeah, I was bad when I lived in Alabama trying to make tea. I'd put on a pot to boil, and on my kitchen, and my kitchen was so far from where I was working on my computer, I'd get involved in my computer and I'd forget about it. And I burned up so many pots, it wasn't funny. I mean, I just burned them slap up. I'd forget about them for a little bit. And time I thought about it, it's too late. I mean, the water would be boiled out and the pots would be melted on the stove. I had it happen so many times. Well, my kitchen is just right there. That's one of the advantages of a tiny home. There are some advantages to a tiny home. I don't have to run so far through the house for anything. There's nothing. It's just 20 foot long from one end to the other. Actually, it's not 10 foot long, because each wall's half a foot thick. So the outer dimensions is 20 by 10 by 20. So the inner dimensions are 9 by 19. And I got upstairs. And upstairs is pretty close. And it's not 8 foot up there, because I put the ceilings at 7 foot, so it wouldn't be so hard to heat. The cooling might be a challenge. I was more concerned about heating, because the winter sure can get cold. Shark Force One. Uh-oh. Arthur, let's see, in Iran, Russia have been passing materials back and forth. Okay. Um, Underground facilities are de facto Roman. I don't know. They may have some. Well, we know they got the catacombs. We know that the Vatican's got a lot of underground stuff. Let's see. Nothing, nothing stays Rome like a tunnel. I don't get what you mean by that. All righty. So from what we spent in bombs and missiles, we could have dug new straits to controllers. Maybe Battery Apex. We've certainly spent a lot of money on those. Been to the Strait of Hormuz and Diego Garcia many times back in the early 80s. That's when I was in the Army. During and after the Iranian crisis, yeah, I thought I was going to get sent there because I was the direct support of the 82nd Airborne during the hostage crisis. They told us we were going, just point blank. It didn't happen though, but they told us we were going. Carter's military, we weren't ready for it. We were conducting nuclear combat drills daily. Wow. Interesting to hear, Alan. Alan Brooks, where are you from, Alan? I take it you were in the Navy at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Especially having been in the Strait of Hormuz. Diego Garcia, you could have been Air Force, but tell me what service you were in, where you're at now. I'd be curious. Wizard never thought Iran would be the good guy. Well, I'm not saying they're the good guy. Don't. Evil Knievel would jump right across the strait. Yeah, he might have tried to. Yeah, he wanted to jump the Snake River Canyon in Robert Truax's steam rocket, if y'all remember that. And the chute came out as it launched off the launch pad. And some people claim it was a failure, but I always thought he might have chickened out and pulled that chute because his survival prospects weren't that great on the other side. It had a big shock absorber on the nose. It was supposed to land it on the nose, and that was supposed to take in some of the shock. But a lot of people were skeptical about that. But then he risked himself a lot of times. And he talked for years about jumping in that Snake River Canyon. It's called Sky Cycle, if anybody remembers that. Cats tend to send SOSs with their claws. Well, that's why they try to get up. They want in my lap, and they'll try to climb my legs or jump me. They're fighting each other now. I don't know if y'all can hear them. I know my mic filters out a lot of sound. If I just kind of grunt, it'll filter it out. I noticed that, which is a good thing. Snort. I don't know. Is it true they are letting IRGC and families flee to Australia and Canada and England? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that. Yeah. Well, if they defect, but I wouldn't want them coming into my country, I'll tell you that. I would be really reluctant in that number. Those people would have to have some major vetting and screening and have some big problem. They know cats are going at it with each other. All right. Ooh. Let's see. If we were letting the IRGC flee to Allied countries, he was the war against them. Exactly, exile the kings of Malta now. Yeah, that would really concern me big time. Cargill is first to free up the strait. Well, it's at the far end of the Persian Gulf. It's on the north end. There's the islands Abu Masa and Greater and Lesser Tom, however you say TONB islands. They're right there in the strait. There's a couple of them bigger ones just north of it, but those were heavily militarized by the Iranian military. They could be taken, and those Iranian military facilities taken out, and those would be good forward bases for that EABSO concept. Expeditionary operating base. That's a big acronym. Sometimes I say it and sometimes I don't. All right, so Doomsday Queen's husband was employed there. I don't know who she is. Discombobulate. Rise of God? Well, maybe. Discombobulate. What I need is a recombobulator. A recombobulator. A friend of the family is supposed to retire under 6 months. His sub is getting repairs and upgrades. Hope he don't have to go. Well, the guys in subs are probably better off. I don't think Iran's got anything to target a guy in a sub. Not right now. Let's see here. Most of China and Russia stuff gets stuffed out by our EWS. Yeah, we fried a lot of that stuff. That's right, drops. So what's this about a Beirut explosion that just occurred? We don't need big pharma. Grow winged and flava beans. Yeah, there you go. Grow your own fertilizer. Yeah, here there's another bean that's, what's the name of it? Peppery bean, something like that. It's supposed to be very drought resistant. I'm planning to get a bunch of seeds of those. Rocondo tree works in the desert too. Okay. Americans are not paying for it. Let's see. We had phalanx for decades on our ships. That's true. The phalanx is an old system, but it's a good system. It really helps to find qualified empathy. Ferraro pressures, what? Ferraro, like a car? Pressures when you get it that they are also intimidating. What's all this about Roman hostages? Okay, well, you're Knights of Malta. Okay. Maybe that's all the Roman references. Thank you, C. Schiller, for calling for the thumbs up. Okay, no new. Okay, good. No knowledge of a new Beirut explosion. So you're talking about, yeah, the Iranians, they hit our embassy in Beirut, and they hit our Marine barracks that we had in Beirut, took out a lot of Americans. And they also blew up our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, which must be called Tanzania. Furthermore, they supplied the IEDs that took out American troops in both Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of American troops were taken out by Iranian supplied IEDs, including Colonel Cole has had some of his men taken out by those, and he hates Iran for that. So yeah, he had personal losses. It was personal to him. World War III, and we could be stepping in that direction, or maybe possibly taking the wind out of that sail. I don't know. It's definitely time. You get married next month. Really, drops? Are you kidding us, or is that for real? That's interesting. Your cousin flew an A-10. Well, salute to him. Salute your cousin. I know about gingers. Uh-oh. New Days just got in the house. She's a ginger. We're talking about gingers. You're liable to get in trouble there, salty dog. All right. New Days has been a prime example mod. She really does a great job as a mod. She's one that posts a lot of stuff and takes care of business when it trolls get in the house. Let's see. I'm very unprepared, and that's why everything I do goes into diplomacy. Okay, well, diplomacy may count, but it don't work when the other side's lying to you. So we already called a random one lie. Terminator Genesis on the cover. It says new mission, new fate. Oh, Lord. Oh, Drops. I just need to prep for this redhead I've known for 20 years. All right, Drops, you're marrying a redhead. Okay. Lordy, lordy. I'm almost fresh out of dollar store duplex cookies. Uh-oh. That was your prepping plan? Well, watch those Oreos. They're not real food. Oh, you think Chuck Norris went to take care of stuff upstairs? Yeah, I saw a cartoon picture of the Grim Reaper that harvested Chuck Norris and it was all beat up. Had his head in his hands. All right. Do you like PLTR for investment? Was it Palantir? I don't know, guys. They probably have a future right now because their systems are really being used by the government. And private industry is using Palantir too, by the way. I know that for a fact. But yeah, it's Peter Thiel. That stuff scares me a little bit. DIY shampoo, good idea. I looked 25 when in my mid 30s. Okay. And she was 20. So you've known her for 20 years. Okay. Well, maybe that's the time to marry somebody. Know them for 20 years. I think that's my new strategy. I think remember hearing how Chuck's wife is the brains behind everything with him. Maybe. Well, they apparently were a good couple. All right. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Okay. Thank you, New Days. As I mentioned, she's great at sharing links. She shared the switchwithgreg.com link. Thank you, New Days. All right, mods. New Days is the example to follow. Mods, New Days is the example to follow. Oh, what's space-based? Drops your redhead fiance? That's got to be space-based. Oh, scrolling again. I gotta. Amish weed, though. Makes you wonder how long Starlink will be around. Well, if they quit launching them, not long, because they're in such a low Earth orbit, the atmosphere will take them out eventually. Eddie, good to see you in the house. You're up late, just like me. Tell Carrie I said hi. And Scott Mack. All right, how you doing? Amish weed lard. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the Amish are trading stuff on the stock exchange. Correct me if I'm wrong. That just seems kind of counterintuitive for Amish. I have my brother and his family in the UK and several relatives. Okay. Doesn't come back to the States soon. That would be good for him because Starmer over there is trying to put the mark of the beast on everybody, it looks like. General Milley looked really pissed. Well, if something's ticking off General Milley, it's probably a good thing. Sometimes I refer to him as Millie Vanilli. General Millie Vanilli. Love to go to Ireland or Scotland. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a trip there. A lot of my ancestors passed from Scotland to Ireland to America. You haven't listened to that speech. There's a couple of different versions. 24 degrees last week. Today it'll be 80. Wow, that's a big jump. Big jump. All right. Almost the bottom. Hey, baby girl. In Peoria, Arizona. Hey, neighbor. We had tornado watches. Ooh. Hail. We haven't been over a low of 50s yet in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Sea buckhorns. You send me some links for that. Can you add a Starlink? I'm talking to you guys via Starlink. I've got to pay my bill. I'm a couple days behind. If they don't terminate before I pay it, because I got to use the internet to pay it. I need to do it in the morning. Hopefully I don't forget. Meant to do it today and I got tied up. A lot of my errands took me too long today. Windows. My problem is my computer. My computer is, it's got too much power and too small of a chassis. It just heats up. I have medicinal plants growing. I recommend adding papaya. The flowers help with malaria. Oh, okay. There is a timer, but for those who are retired, our alarm clock and wristwatch will reset during the stove timer. And Mr. Malta, I don't quite follow you there. Yeah. Working on an herb garden. That's good pollinets. Salted dog. I hate to move since I have so many wild medicinal plants cultivated in green grass. Yeah. Well, I moved to Arizona and I have found I know some of the cactus around here I can eat, but I found another plant that's edible. So I don't know what it is, but I know it's edible. So there is apparently a medicine man of sorts that lives near me. Eddie knows him. Hey, Eddie, you still in the house? I need to meet your medicine man buddy. We need to set that up. I need to meet your medicine man buddy, Eddie. So, yeah, Eddie was trying to invite me over. I need to get close late with you. Are you still in the house, Eddie? It's late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. He may have went to bed. And that would probably be a good thing. Camp for tea. Third year on this. Hey, maybe I can grow that here. Stinging nettle. You know, stinging nettle is one plant that you can start with a flint and steel. A spark. It will take a spark real well. Even, most things you got to really dry them, and a lot of stuff you had to take and basically paralyze it for flint and steel to take it, but you don't have to do it with stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is probably the best plant in the world to use with a flint and steel kit. So just that's a good prepper to. Hey, Keith in Arizona in the house. All right, good to see you. Hey, still here, Eddie. Yeah, we need to. Text me again. I saw a message from you about getting together. I got plans Saturday. Not Saturday, Sunday night. I got a mechanic coming out here today, tomorrow, whatever today is, Saturday. To me, it's still Friday because I ain't gone to bed yet. But I know it's Saturday morning. I got a mechanic coming there sometime today. I don't know when he's going to get done. So I'm planning to make a trip. I'm going to do a field trip to visit the Earthship houses to see if I can steal some ideas for my universal habitat project, which I'm planning to start out here real soon. I got some people that's volunteered to help with that. So that may be finally getting built here. Sting nettle is also nature's Viagra. Ooh. Thank you, New Days. Good tip. Good tip. Yeah, man. But, so there you go. We're giving y'all some prepper tips, medicinal tips, and, well, it starts fires in more way than one, then, don't it, New Days? That's quite the fire starter. Starts all kind of fires. Got stingy all over my property. Oh, okay. I need to hey, send me some seeds. All right, hang on. Let's see if anybody sent me anything via my PayPal account from my website. I always like to give credit if it's due. I missed No, no, let's see. I'm in the wrong email. Ding, ding, not yet. Not tonight. Alrighty, guys. So, how's your left eye feeling? Oh, not so bad right now. I think I'm, yeah, so you remember that. Appreciate that. Yeah, my left eye stays scratchy a lot. This feels kind of rough. It's not as good as it used to be my best eye. I did get cataract surgery a few years ago, and they put in, plastic lenses in my eye. And I remember at work, I thought the counter was dingy. There was something wrong with the counter. I thought, wow, this counter is dingy. I can't clean it. And once I got the new lenses, I suddenly saw, oh, this is a bright blue. It wasn't the counter at all. It was me. And then they got noticing like bug lights. They were brighter than what I remember them, I've been seeing them at. I forgot how bright those things were. I mean, I wasn't seeing blues. Believe it or not, the blue colors weren't coming through. My eyes were getting kind of cloudy. And so that did me some advantage in that. Okay, guys, hang on a minute. Don't be guessing nothing yet. Hang on. Download Linux, Mint, and get off Windows. Yeah, well, Windows is a problem, but I got a problem with my computer. It's burnt out a chip. It's burnt out a camera. I'd sent it in to get it repaired because the keyboard had failed. They replaced the keyboard and the motherboard. They didn't hook everything up right, or just probably it's got the same heating problem it's had all along. I don't think it's going to survive the summer here. So, all right, everybody, how many eggs I get today? Egg guess time. How many eggs we get today? Careful, the glare of your devices causes unnecessary eye strain. Lord, I look at computer screens all day long. Grow goji. It's not a bad idea. Eat them. Okay. Not a bad idea. How many eggs I get today? Go. Guess. All right. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? Good to see you. How many eggs I get today? Keep guessing. 5. Okay, Carrie Johnson got it. 5. It was 5 eggs today. A couple days ago, I had 11. And then it was like 4 the next day. No, 6. No, I got 5 eggs. 11 was the most I've ever gotten. I got that a couple days ago, but now they're going back down for some reason. So 5 eggs today. All right, quit guessing. When the numbers stop rolling, we'll take our next guess. We'll still see numbers rolling. Stop guessing. Carrie got it. Carrie Johnson. Salute to Carrie. Yay! Stop guessing, guys. Alrighty. Not the numbers start rolling. So, of these 5 eggs, how many of them are Easter egg or eggs? That's the next guess. How many are Easter egg or eggs? The rooster ran in the stinging nettle. Maybe you got the sharp side, not the side that we were being told about here from New Days. Content creators could use red lighting for less eye strain. Well, I got kind of a yellow light going here. That's actually better than what I was using. Yeah, all right. Keith in Arizona got it. Keith in Arizona. I got 1 Easter egg or egg. 1. Keith got it first. It was 1. It could have been none with just 5 eggs. And it's lighting up good. This one's actually a blue screen egg. I don't know if it's showing as well. This one right here. We'll have to change screens for I can look, see what you're seeing. All right. Yeah, this one. It's a bluish green egg. So I only got 5 today. But a couple of days ago, I had 11 eggs. That's the record so far. All righty. So what time is it? How long have I been in that? We've been going for 88 minutes. So we got the 167. So for those that's just joining to kind of recap the news, Iran fired 2 ballistic missiles at Diego Garcia, 4,000 kilometers away. And the Iranian foreign minister, Eric Garcia, he had stated flat out that all Iranian ballistic missiles were kept with a max range of 2,000 kilometers. He lied. They had 4,000 kilometer capability, maybe more. the Trump administration had said, oh, we've got intel that Iran was developing an intercontinental ballistic missile. Of course, that could have been an excuse for going into the war, but it could have been true too, because they did have a satellite launcher, and a satellite launcher is essentially that level of capability. Those blue eggs are cool. We ready to get them up here. Yeah, I've got 3 East rigger hens. Oh, 3 or 4, maybe 4. I got 1 leghorn, 12 hens total. The rest of them are Dominicers. Those Dominicers lay the bigger eggs. They lay some big eggs typically. Southern Grits, how you doing? So, and the other news is that the Iranians have said that they're going to start targeting people everywhere, and especially in like national parks and reserves and places like that. I guess it's because they can sneak up on people. I don't know. I don't know what that means. That's kind of disconcerting. They said they're going to do it around the world, and so nobody be safe. Of course, that might have just been a threat to make people feel antsy, but you got to take it serious. You can't ignore these things. Want to lay back down for the first light. That's a good plan, Paulinette. I got to hit the hay here in a minute. Save your eggshells for the garden. Well, my eggshells are going in the worm beds, but it'll go from there to the garden. They're taking a trip through their route to the garden is through the worm beds. You know, I got worms. You know, my biggest video on this channel is 5 keys for raising worms, over 500,000 views and growing. That's one video. It still grows. Most of my videos die within the second day. Nobody watches them anymore, but that one keeps getting views. 3 or 4 dollar store duplex cookies, a little bit of water. I've seen video where they had Oreo cookies held up to a blowtorch and they wouldn't burn. You know, maybe we need to use those for heat shields for our rockets. Yeah, they won't burn apparently. So, and the other thing is that cream filling is basically just grease and paste. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So there's tons of stuff y'all are getting out of the stores, guys. It ain't no good. I'll tell you that. I got some good healthy snacks here. Do this. Yeah, this comes from my switchback stuff. It's blueberry vanilla. See there? It's good with coffee too. Anyway. Don't forget the butter, the hot fudge. Okay. Yeah, you got to have your butter. Egg custard pie. Hey, my big cat don't eat eggs. These little ones love them. I don't know why. These little cats, they love eggs. So I'm giving them some eggs. My big cat don't care for them. I don't know why. He don't care for them. These cats, all 3 of them, love eggs. I love scrambled eggs. So I started giving them, I tested on it, and I'm starting to give them some. Hey, we got a super chat tonight. Thank you, C. Shelley. Salute to you. Thank you. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming in the house tonight. Thanks, C. Shelley, for the super chat. We're about to go. We went through all the news, and my dog won't eat eggs for some reason. Well, my oldest cat, Smarky, won't eat eggs. These little cats, they'll just tear into them. They love them. Well, I won't eat raw eggs. And I'm cooking these. I'm scrambling them. Just make sure there don't have any bacteria in them. Maybe Greg wants what? Maybe Greg wants to do it. I don't even bother to collect SS or Social Security. Well, in 2024, I didn't have a job for 6 months. And I lost for Social Security, filed early, but then I wound up working and I've got to pay it all back. I got a note from them. They want me to send them a check for the full amount. Can't do it. Not full amount, but I got to call them. So I thought they were just, when it went down, I talked to them. I thought they were going to hold it. Hey, Drops, thank you. Appreciate that, Drops. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I got to pay it all back. And what's bad is I'll never get the full retirement rate because I refiled early. I'll probably hit the 67 before I actually file again. So, because I know I won't be able to, I'll probably put in enough work this year, I won't be able to draw it. Because, you know, if you file early and you make a certain amount of money, you don't get it. Or you get less, but you make it burn a certain threshold, you won't make any. So I don't know if I've hit that yet, but probably we'll get close to it soon. So that's a problem. But, you know, hey, I was in a tight in 2024. I was in a bad tight, especially after I got scammed over my transmission. That really done me some economic damage. So there we are. I understand why people have a bone to pick with Millie, but I also understand the source of pressure upon him. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, he wasn't my favorite Joint Chiefs of Staff chairman. I don't play their game. Try prop firm match to win some free accounts. Prop firm match. What is that? Hey, all the son, how you doing? Good to see you in the house. All righty, we're about to go. We're about to call it a night here. I have 3 vehicles and 2 of them got a neutral sensor safety switch problem. Oh, that's weird. My newest vehicle is 20 years old. My oldest vehicle, four-wheel, driving vehicle, is my 76, which was actually made in 75. It's my 1-ton truck. It's getting some years on it. She's a little better than 50-year-old now. I made $20K a month trading stocks. Wow. That's interesting, Drops. Maybe I need to talk to you and get some tips. I don't know jack diddle about stocks, so really. I was just that's really good, Drops. I was just pleasantly surprised that Millie was so frank about who controls the world. Oh, did he give a speech on that? I hadn't heard that one. Hey, Keith in Arizona. Thank you. Drops. Now I know why a redhead is after you. Uh-oh. Making 20,000 a month. No. Can't blame that. Can't blame it just on redhead. I think a lot of women go after that. So I'm a strawberry blonde. That's a shade of a redhead myself. I won't buy a vehicle over 5K. No, I don't. Hey, I don't either. A lot of my vehicles, a lot of times my standard is like spend $1,200. If it's over $1,200, I usually don't do. I will spend more on a truck, but yeah, not 5K. So that is my standard too. I limit how much I'll spend on a vehicle. And for me, what I find personally from vehicles, yeah, you got to do some maintenance on them when they're old, but the maintenance costs on my whole fleet of vehicles, I got 5 vans, a bus, 2 trucks. My maintenance cost is far less than the cost of buying a new vehicle, far less. And my insurance is, for all these vehicles, about a little over $200 a month. I just have liability. And I got 2 tractors. My oldest tractor was made in 47. So that's my oldest vehicle is my Ford tractor. I live in an area where they have a higher percentage of people that are gingers. Okay. The new vehicle sensors, I don't like that. Yeah. So the newer they are, the more, reliability is inversely proportional to parts count. Just keep that in mind. And newer vehicles got a whole lot more parts. I make over 6 figures on real estate every 2 years. You want to know? You won't know. I will teach you. Man, maybe I need to go to your school, Drops. Yeah, we figured just T's and C's, Shelley. Well, that was pretty obvious. At least I hope so. Anyway, we're family. It's okay to tease and have a little fun in here. Got 161 in the house. That's a pretty good number. How many thumbs up do we have? Let me hit the refresh button. See how many thumbs up we got over here. 161 people. We should have a lot of thumbs up. Only 105? Okay, people. Somebody's holding back on the thumbs up. As I know, we probably had 600 people filter through tonight because it's not the main number of people watching that. A lot of people come in late. Some drop out. They go to bed, which is probably a smart move. Oh, well, knocked over. It's about something over. So, all righty. Well, I'm hoping I can start learning a little bit from my worms again from my garden when I get it up and running. I do need to be self-sufficient here too. Because guys, they're now saying that Social Security may only be solvent for 6 years. That's what they're really thinking, and they don't pay out that much. And if inflation hits, those fixed checks are going to be rough to deal with, very rough to deal with. Wow, Doc, you're a very enterprising fellow. That's all I got to say. All right, cats, quit playing with my cords. Stop it. Cats want to chew on my cords. All righty. Let's see. Might have to introduce y'all to one of the kitties here. Oh, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Sorry? Did I roll over your tail or something? What happened? I'm gonna pick up a kitty. Mom started crying. Well, this one's the other one. There's one of them. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby. It's okay. I'm sorry. This little bugger's try to get in my lap and they'll claw. Well, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You okay? Yeah, you look okay. This is one crying a minute ago. There we go. Well, he's happy now. This is the Tom kitty. The other two are girls. I can call this one Rastus. The gray one. Oh, my gray one's at. I'm out. Now you sleep. That's Spunky, the gray one. One solid gray. He does like to be petted. Now he's purring. Okay, good. He's purring now. What's up, baby? You happier now? Anything stringy or cardboard boxes, cat heaven. Yeah, they love strings and cardboard boxes. Anything they can crawl inside of. But I don't have any mortgage here. I turned 65 and was told I cannot get a full retirement at 60. Yeah, if you're born after 1960, anytime in 1960, the retirement age is 67. That's me. That's full retirement. I screwed up and started drawing a little early. Hey, all of a sudden. Yeah, I got some purring going on here. Little motor on. Well, there's the gray one. Spunky. So restless. Yeah, he's purring. Bought every house with cash. Well, I got no mortgage here. This property in this house, no mortgage. They let me go from the hospital system weeks before I could have gotten a lump sum payment. Problem lump sums, you can go through them faster than a hot knife through warm butter. Oh, he's happy now. Happy kitty. Hey, can I ask for prayers for baby White? Yes, you can. Anybody else got a prayer request? At least I got to collect unemployment because they fired me without cause. There you go. Financial advice. You should talk to me. No mortgage. There you go. All right. Any other prayer requests? We'll pray for baby White. Eligible for Medicare, but I didn't sign up. They automatically enroll you in Part A when you turn 65. I told them I didn't want Part B, and they enrolled me, and I fought them to get out of it. And I did. But I actually have insurance. I am working. I'm working full time right now. I don't know how long it'll last, but I am working full time right now. Never collected unemployment. I told them I'm leaving, and you'll be bankrupt in 6 months. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, kitty, you're gonna have to get down. You're wanting to climb in my face. Problem is, when you try to put them down, they put the claws out and screw up holes in your shirt. Nope, 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 nope. I don't want to be put down. It wants to stay. Sorry, baby. Sorry, baby. All right, folks, let's do the little prayer. We're going to pray for baby White. Let's see here. That's any other prayer request. Let's pray for the safety of our troops and we get out of this stinking war soon. Mississippi. How you doing, Mississippi Outpost? Let's see here. A bunch of messages here. Oh, cat. You're hurting me. Trying to get back up on me here. All right. La, la, la. Chin hugger. Yeah, it was going from my, just want to go up get in my face. All righty, folks, let's do that. Let's have a little quick prayer. And let's put a prayer in for Randy Bly. He's passing away basically. Maybe he may have already passed. I may have just not got word on it, but I thought it would. But he's been in hospice. Um, let's pray for our troops and pray that our world gets through this challenge that we're facing right now with all the warfare. Peter Hernandez, I'm ready. Okay. It's not a religious channel, so I'm not going to lead you in prayer. I'm going to tell you how to pray. Just pray according to your faith. And if you don't have a faith, a moment of silence is golden. I don't think there is automatic enrollment. They'll sign you up for Part A. They did me. They didn't. They just put me in it. All right, folks. It was like medical inquisition. All right, let's say a quick prayer. Yeah. All right, folks. Amen. Bring the troops home. There you go. Yep. All right, folks. Hey, I want to thank C. Shelley and Drops for the super chats. Thank you. Let me check one more time. Make sure if anybody sent one donation through my website. Not tonight. So remember, hey, if you want to get away from voting for the people that are promoting globalism and putting toxins in all your products, check out switchwithgreg.com. I'll post a link after I upload the video, and I will after I do the the thumbnails and all that stuff. So I know the Father is real. Death to this world is external life with the Father. All righty. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Thank you, mods. And in one and all, a good day, good night, wherever you are. Yes, do hit the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell and bang all. And bang the bell and click all. And do look in after I post a video, say something, comments below, maybe comment somebody else's comment. All that activity, the chat, the participation from you guys do help the algorithms. So to one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho. Memory of Granny Lana.